All right, ladies and gentlemen, there is absolutely no introduction needed for today's guest. I am so excited for this interview. Right before we jump into it, my homies over at Sunday Swagger, partners of myself and Joey Coldcuts, we're doing a giveaway for you guys. So my buddy Joey, obviously very relevant, homie of Fat Perez, member of Bob Does Sports, he just launched a signature line with them. It is hilariously awesome. It's the Cold Cuts line. It's literally cold cut sandwiches on a shirts, and there's one with Canadian flags and hockey sticks and pucks, and it's just the greatest stuff of all time. So go check it out. Go support them. Link down below. We're also going to be doing a giveaway here. So I posted it on my Instagram earlier. It's basically we're going to be giving away one of each of the polos as well as a $100 gift card to Sunday Swagger. So all you have to do to enter is just click the link down below. Go to the Instagram post. It tells you what to do. It's the usual follow, like, and tag 3 friends, and you're going to be entered to win. We're going to be DMing the winner on March 3rd. So you guys can go enter to win some of that stuff. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the episode. Let's jump right into it. All right, I got a hell of an intro for you. I hope. You ready? All right, ladies and gentlemen, I would love to welcome to the program the most mystical man in golf, a rumbling in the trees to most, to mere mortals, just a rumor, the slayer of wedges, the flyer of drones, the enigma himself, the man who single-handedly made Max Homa shoot a 60 just to beat him, the one, the only, Fat Perez. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. It's a hell of an intro right there. I don't know if anybody will be able to top that. That was nice.
There we go. I worked on that one for a little while. Pleasure to have you, man. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. Watching your stuff, it's awesome. So happy to jump on here.
Thanks, buddy. Why do you think you're so mystical? I joked about it in the intro, but it's like you are just like the most interesting man in golf. That's literally the title to this video, is going to be the most interesting man on earth, the Fat Perez interview. Like, and I'm not the only one saying that. Why do you have this mystique about you?
I don't know, man. It's an interesting thing. I mean, I guess maybe a lot of like what I am and what I do is sort of like counterintuitive to each other. I'm certainly not the perfect picture of fitness. I don't treat my body the way that somebody should. I don't, particularly plan well, like night before big matches. I seem to get maybe a little ahead of myself, a little excited. But for whatever reason, I've kind of been this way for a long time and done those things, and I kind of know how to just still show up and play decent golf and be an idiot. And I used to be a problem that I was, drunken and would say whatever came into my head, and now it seems to be slightly celebrated. So I don't know. It's me. I don't know any different. So it is.
It's awesome, man. I think it's also you play really good golf too. I think that'll blow people's minds too when you show up like stumbling to the course, waking up 10 minutes before, and then you hit like a bunch of dime shots. You're the only person on your channel that can compress a golf ball consistently. Like, it's good stuff.
Yeah, I think there's a little surprise factor there. And again, that's kind of been part of my whole life, is just like, if I play with somebody for the first time, they've heard I'm pretty good, and they're like, look at me, they're like, that guy, he's 5'7", he's God knows how much he weighs. I don't know how much I weigh. I don't want to know. And it's like, and then you just see me hit the first golf shot, and it's just like, what in the hell is going on here? So I don't. Maybe that's something to do with it. It's allowed me to hustle some people in my lifetime, so that's not a bad thing.
Where did the golf thing start for you? Was this like a childhood thing you picked up as a kid, or was it like a school thing? Where'd that all come from?
Yeah, it's been in my family my whole life. Great grandfather played, dad played. My grandfather's pretty involved in like in USGA and PGA and majors and stuff like that. So it's ever since I could walk, it's sort of been my number one sport. I've always played, I played Little League, I played soccer, I played all the stuff that, hockey a little bit, played all the stuff that kids play growing up, but it was always kind of golf first. And then, when the baseball coach started saying my golf swing was messing up my baseball swing, my dad was like, all right, well, he's out of here. It's back to the golf now. So yeah, I mean, I've always played. I don't really know any different.
Yeah, interesting. That's very you're very Justin Thomas-esque then, eh? Just a lineage of PGA professionals in your family and stuff. It's like in that full swing documentary.
Yeah, none of them were pros. Yeah, none of them were like teaching pros or anything, just heavily involved in like club operations. Like my dad is from Rochester, New York, and grew up at Oak Hill, where they're having the PGA this year. And my grandfather was like club president on all the committees to Ryder Cups and US Opens and all that stuff. So just super involved in the game and the championships and everything that kind of go along. Just my whole life I've been at it. I think I was at the 89 US Open when I was 5 months old. And, I was at the 95 Ryder Cup when I was 6, and, stuff that I don't even really remember that much. But just always been around the game, always loved the game.
You don't strike me, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, you don't strike me as like a country club kid. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I came into golf like through the athletic route, like later in life. Like, I started a year and a half ago, and it was like I was an athlete in like rugby and hockey and all these more traditional sports. And we'd always look at golfers in high school as like complete like sticks and losers and whatever. And it's that country, and you can see it now because like there's more athletes in golf, so you see less of it. But you can still tell when that guy shows up with like the white foot joys and the visor and the you know what I mean? You can always tell the type. That is not you.
Yeah, I think it was me. I think there was, or it was me, but I definitely was a classic white foot joy. Kind of imperial dad hat guy. Would never wear a flat brim. I would never wear like dope skis out on the course. Hoodies, definitely not. Like that stuff, I think as older I've gotten, and I think a little less conservative I've gotten in my just having a good time and things like that. And maybe other aspects of like what I'm into has started to bleed into, my grandfather, if he saw me now with like long hair and hoodies and Jordans, he would be like, if I tried to like walk out onto the driveway to go to a round of golf, he'd be like, you're not, like, you're cutting your hair, you're shaving that beard, and what the hell is that, a hoodie? Like, absolutely not. Like, you'll meet us, go change and meet us on the back nine. So it's just a little bit of change and probably me as a person, but just also kind of, I mean, look, golf played by all sorts of people, right? I mean, you have the country club people that you described, and then you have the kind of blue collar guys that work 60-hour weeks with their hands just so they can link up boys and play golf Saturday and Sunday and have a good time and get after it, and they don't care what they shoot, right? And golf needs all of that in it to be healthy, and it brings just golf is like the great equalizer for me between different classes and different types of people with different interests. Like somebody, you have people from all walks of life, Wall Street, fishermen, everybody loves golf and can get together in the grill like after a round of golf and share a beer and talk about how they played today, where they might have literally nothing else in common. So to me, it's like, there's no right way to be when it comes to golf. I think you got to follow dress codes and things like that different clubs have, but outside of that, it's different for everyone, and that's great.
It's really interesting to hear because like I never would have guessed. Like honestly, I think if you had a vote for the most like swaggerific guy in the golf content world, like you'd win hands down for like the most. Like we were just talking about sneakers before this, like. But I think it's really interesting because I think what you just described, I didn't even know we were going to go here, and this is amazing, is like, that is what I think the value prop of Bob Does Sports is that you guys bring the game to all of these new people who haven't felt represented in the game before. Because even in groups like Good and Grant and Micah, like, those guys are all stick golfers who fit a bit more of that country club mold. A little bit. Not completely, like Good's breaking it down or whatever, but you guys are way more relatable. You guys are way more showing what... Like, my friends, when I talk about that I make YouTube videos in the golf world now, Bob Does Sports is what they mention. And that's because my friends are tradesmen who want to go out and drink beers and party and shoot the shit and shoot 90 and like whatever. But that is the majority of new people coming into the game, is people enjoying it now who wouldn't before. So talk to me a little bit about that, because you guys are really, I think, leading the charge in that group, which is amazing.
I think when it comes down to it, we're just having fun, and that's what playing golf is all about. It's what it should be all about. Like, play great golf and be focused on playing good golf, but at the bottom of that, having fun, right? You're doing that because you're having fun playing golf. You want to play in a tournament and win, and that's fun. Some might say what's fun to me in playing golf is that I've just convinced my wife or girlfriend that I can go drink beers outside with my buddies for 4 hours, right? No the great equalizer on that is fun, and that's what we're having. I mean, we play rounds of golf together, the three of us off camera, that are just the same as they are on camera, and we don't think about it. We don't try to do anything. I mean, the only thing we're doing is coming up with a kind of concept for the video, and then we just press record, and whatever happens, whatever nonsense comes out of our mouth, comes out of our mouth. And I think that's what 99% of the guys that go out and play golf casually are doing, right? You're hanging out with your boys, you're being ridiculous, you're getting away with basically just as much as you can get away with, whether it's drinking or music or time away from home, whatever it might be. And I mean, it's like, I hear that a lot, like what you're saying, as far as us being relatable and all that stuff. And like, it'd be a lot easier if we were like really making a conscious effort to be that way. I mean, I think fortunately we're just us, and there's a lot of channels that come around, or a lot of people that try to do what we do, and I don't think we haven't really, I don't think we're doing anything that's like mind-blowing necessarily. We're just fortunate that people have grabbed a hold of what we do, and people could easily just not entertaining, and it would have just gone away, but we would have had fun the whole time. So it is what it is. And yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It really is a crazy thing. I mean, I hear people that like I meet at random places that say that they don't even play golf, never have played golf, but they love our videos. So to me, that's like, all right, great. We're not just a golf channel. I think we're almost more of like a just nonsense comedy, ridiculous channel on the golf course. Golf's almost like a vehicle for us three. And that's why we can translate, I guess, okay to a podcast. And there's some, like, our car rides to the golf courses are just sitting at Airbnbs on our trips. Like, if we just had like a GoPro in that room and you just saw this that we were talking about, like, we laugh so hard off camera at nonsense that like it just sort of bleeds into the video. So I don't know. I wish I had some secret sauce or some equation that we use to do it. It's just we're fortunate that the three of us just vibe so well, and people see themselves in us, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a wild ride.
Yeah, it is, and it's a lot of things. Like, I would say it really is personified by like the cult-like following you guys have, because that really is what it is. And I think it's the first time in the golf world where it's been like that, and why that happens is because you guys are personalities. Like, you guys are some of the first like really unique personalities to enter into the space that people can see themselves in and attach to. And you guys have character qualities that like you could sit in a room in Hollywood and try to craft in order, you know what I mean? But like, I'm totally with you. Like, obviously I've talked to Joey, I know Joey, like, I know this wasn't planned, I know this was just you guys being you guys, but like, you've just gotten so incredible. I mean, you're just awesome people, but like, you've gotten lucky in the sense that you just, as humans, you are incredibly entertaining people. So when you just put that together, like you said, and you just be yourself, that's what also makes you so unique, because that can't be replicated, because you guys are who you are, and it's so cool, man.
Yeah, I mean, we're not actors. Like, the moment that we have to like attempt to be actors in any way, like, it would fall on its, it'd be so obvious, and that's just not what we are. So it's an interesting thing of like, we didn't like try to debate this in any way, but like, our personalities, though ridiculous, are different, and I think that really helps us. I think when Bob and Joe got started, if you would have had two Bobs, like funny guy, super positive, together in a cart, I don't think it would have hit the same. Or even Joe, two cold cuts, two over the top crazy guys sitting next to each other, it wouldn't have had the same hit as like the both funny guys, but in their own way. This guy keeping this guy level, this guy hyping this guy up, and then I just kind of come in as, I guess, a little degenerate, but adding a little bit of like context to the world of golf, and being able to like play people and not have a video end on the 11th hole. So the good, and then Jet, we got Jet, who's like the ultimate cynical guy. So we have all of us that get along so well and are best friends, but we all are so different in the way that like we are. I guess we're all, we're funny, I guess. Like, I hate saying it, but like, yeah, we have a bit of humor to us, but it's all different kinds of humor. And I think that like we're lucky that just happened to be the case. It's not like we had trial like Bob was like, I need a hothead, and like interviewed a bunch of hotheads. And he was like, all right, I need a stick. He needs to be fat, and he needs a problem. And all right, it's you. You know what I mean? Like it just happened. It happened. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's funny because like I would imagine that there's. I mean, you kind of touched on it. I'd be interested to hear if you had any like if this has actually happened already. But like people trying to imitate you guys, I feel like that's the only way people could do it is like they would have to go out and cold call and interview and try to find all these and like a simple because I feel like now. Right, like you guys, like you said, you guys were just friends and it came together and it's great and it wasn't intentional. But now with the success of your archetype, there's no doubt there's going to be people who try to replicate it on some level, who come out and try to form, maybe not the same group, but like a group and be like, all right, here's the different value props, here's the different ways we can have this interesting whatever, and then try to maybe replicate some of the same concepts. Has that already started, or what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I pay attention to YouTube golf for sure, and kind of watch everyone. I'm not sure if I've seen that necessarily, and I don't think we're like protective of our style or our model in any way. I think that, I think that there's so much room at the table, and it benefits YouTube golf as a whole for people to come in here and for successful channels to pop up, because it just kind of buoys the whole thing. Because at the end of the day, we want everyone to watch all of us. And I think that's what these brands are seeing, is that eyeballs that, I always say to people, like when movies came out, like cinema came out, you would see product placement in movies forever, like cereals, wherever the hell it was, right? Detergents, who knows? And then TV came out and more people were staying at home and watching TV. So commercials came out and less product placement in movies and more into TV shows. And now people are looking at their phones more than they're looking at their TVs, more than they're going to movies. And it's not even really close. So I think fans are realizing like, okay, well, what are people watching on their phones? Oh, it's this thing. And so, I mean, there's what we wouldn't want as like a YouTube community, golf community, is like there's two options and you can watch it for 20 minutes a day and then go find something else to do, right? Like we would want you to watch YouTube golf, us, Foreplay, Good, Grant, Micah, you, whoever, Matt, Busted Jack, Brian Brothers, whoever, just keep watching and love us all. I talk to a lot of these groups and I'm like, the competition and the like controversy, like it's not real, it doesn't exist, and we have complete control over it. So like, why are we gonna like, let's not ever start beefs and make people choose sides. Like us all, let's all get together and collab, because like to me that's the best stuff. For us, it's the most fun. The most fun stuff is when we can go link up with some of these groups and do something different than just staying in our bubble and making our own videos. So it does the best. So it's like, perfect, let's go somewhere, let's link up with everybody, let's do like a YouTube golf tour, whatever the hell it might be, and let's just have fun with this thing and don't make people pick a side.
Totally. Yeah, I do.
Your favorite, but watch everybody,
Yeah, big time. And I've seen that firsthand, man, and the passion behind it. Because, like, I mean, my whole channel was started around storytelling in the golf community. And it's with the intention of, like, being hopefully a place where you guys can come and express yourselves a little bit and do something a little different and show a different side to you guys that isn't in your own channels. But it's like, at the end of the day, for the most part, I mean, getting into some on-course content, and I love that. But, like, the channel is really based around just promoting other channels in the golf creator community and supporting you guys and having like, but that's because there's such a community and because there's such an ecosystem and because people care so much about it now. And that's been so eye-opening for me. Like, I've been doing this YouTube stuff on another channel for years now, and like coming in here, it's like nothing I've ever seen, and the growth and the everything and the support and the fans and the community and how quickly I was able to entrench myself in it. Like, and golf is the thing I love most in the world, so it's just amazing. But it's mind-blowing, and it is absolutely not a scarcity mindset. There is no shortage of attention, and if you find something creative and innovative and unique to do, there's an audience for it, man, and they will eat it up. And I love that, and I think it's super motivating. My question to you would be, what do you think right now is missing from the golf creator community, if anything? Like, do you see any like avenues for opportunity or things people could potentially come in with?
It's a good question. Um, I think that if you look at it as like through like maybe the lens of like the other golf content consume, which to me would be the tours, right? The professional tours. You sort of have the checkpoints throughout the year that you come to anticipate and to expect with the Masters and the US Open, the Open Championship, the majors, Ryder Cups, things like that. Um, and I don't think there's any sort of, I don't think that really exists in our world as far as like, oh, it's almost April, this YouTube golf, this thing's coming up. So it's sort of like individual, like when a channel starts to promote something really cool, that's when the anticipation starts. And it's usually 48 hours, then it's out, and then you love it or you don't, or you talk about it or you don't. So maybe if we can get to a place as a community where we have big events or touch points, consistent ones year to year, that can really maybe motivate our audience and engage it, then I don't know, maybe that's good, maybe it's not, maybe it's a terrible idea, I have no idea. But I think that sort of creating the, like, I don't know, maybe more formalizing this ecosystem a little bit into it's consistent things that maybe matter, right? Traditions or things like that can maybe into this space that are across channels. I've heard a lot of stuff, and I've heard other people say it. We've talked about it internally. Any sort of like a YouTube golf tour, I think would be unbelievably fun to participate in, really good content to consume, even in person, hopefully. And then, it's great for everyone. I think if it's something that can be established in some consistency, I don't think it's a year-long tour like the PGA by any means, but maybe once a month or a couple times a quarter or once a quarter, you have these big events that people can plan, travels around or get really excited for people, or, hey, this guy's like all these videos, he's starting to play some good golf, like right ahead of whatever it's called. So I just think that would be really cool. And like even live stream something like that on YouTube. It's an undertaking. Just because of everyone's, what everyone's needs and wants would be on something like that. But I think if everyone is motivated to do it and if everyone's sort of compromise and for the betterment of it and make it better time, I think it could be really cool. And I miss playing competitive golf. That thing I probably miss the most in this whole thing. I mean, I'm not going to complain. My life is great. I'm living a dream I didn't know existed. But if I can like get a little competitive juice in something like that, I would enjoy that selfishly quite a bit.
Totally. Joey said that, and he said like we're just waiting for some rich guy to come along and do it, and like dude, I fully believe in that, and I feel like if you did something like that and then compared it to Liv's live stream numbers from last year, we'd blow Liv out of the water in terms of viewership on YouTube. Yeah. I don't even think it would be close. Like, it won't be PGA big, it never will be, but it will be bigger than Liv. It will be the second biggest tour in golf. I almost guarantee that.
I think it has the potential. I think that's the way to keep it. In my opinion, would it be some sort of streaming service?
It has to be, yeah.
It wouldn't happen enough to like get a TV deal or anything like that.
Well, and it's just where the audience is. Like, you'd be abandoning the audience if you went to a TV platform versus just YouTube.
No, you're right. That's a good point. It should live on YouTube or in something like that. I mean, look, I'm not going to have any idea what that takes, what kind of logistics, what kind of behind the scenes go. I just think it would be fun. I often do this. I often come up with these great ideas and, over 6 beers, 8 beers, and I'm like, we should just do this. And then someone's like, you're an idiot, dude. Like, that's going to take this and this and this. And you don't even know what you're talking about. Yeah, sounds right. That sounds right. And I wake up and I'm like, I think I had a really good idea last night. I can't remember it though.
You're a dreamer, man. You're a dreamer. The world needs more people like you. What was so to walk back a little bit, like obviously you guys have had such explosive growth. with Bob Does Sports. And I know Bob's kind of been in the social game for a while, and he was trying to make stuff happen. And I know Joey was at the hotel, and he kind of came into it through his connection with Bob. How did you, for people who don't know, how did you find your way into this group, and what made you kind of commit to jumping in on it now full time?
Sure. I was like, I went to college to be an accountant. I was an accountant for a while, and I was working in kind of commercial real estate on that side of things when COVID happened. And one of my buddies had turned me on to Bob a while ago with some of his crazy videos. And I think they were really golf focused when I first started following him. And then he had that sort of Genesis, not today, Bubba kind of chirping, heckling videos. And I was like, oh, this guy I follow, like there's a little golf twist. So I started paying attention to him a little more because it just resonated with me a bit. And then, COVID happened. And I think everyone on earth was just bored and looking for stuff to do. And Bob, I just happened to be working late one night and I saw that Bob was doing these like Patreon Zoom happy hours. And I was like, all right, like I would never do this in a normal world. But I'm bored and I'm sitting at work and like, it'll be like at worst, it's just like background noise and I'll never do it again. And at best it's like, I got something to do on Thursdays. So hopped on there and like, he kind of saw me at the cubicle stuff and called on me in a way. And I started, and then that one happened. I was like, oh, okay. Well, like I got involved. That like wasn't awful. And like, oh, imagine that my Thursday next week is wide open because there's a fucking pandemic. So I just kept doing happy hours, kind of got to know him and Joe through that as much as you can through that sort of thing. And then I saw that they were going to Pinehurst. And I just happened to be down there with my wife, and I was just hit Joe up and was like, hey, I want to grab a beer. If not, no big deal, but I'm down. I'd reach out, and beer turned into dinner and turned into golf the next day. And it was sort of like, what is this? Like, what are you? Like, they didn't even know I played golf at that point. And then to see like me and then the golf I was playing, and they were like, there's something to this, man. Like, just like, I don't know what you're doing, but sort of up. And I just sort of stayed in touch with them, and Bob would just sort of put me on his story, and people were just like, what is this? Like, who is this? And like, we need more of this guy. And then, that was probably like a year and a half of that, just sort of like staying in touch. And then, and I still at this point have no desire to like do anything with it. Bob Does Sports hadn't even started yet. And I was just having fun, right? Something to do. And then they started Bob Does Sports. Joe came in, and then it became like a golf channel. And then Foreplay wanted to collab, like 4-man scramble against Bob Does Sports, but it was just two of them. Like, all right, well, we need to fill a squad. And they're like, Fat Perez, like you're coming, you're gonna play in it. And even then, I was like, oh, this is gonna be ridiculous. Like, I'm gonna like tell my kids like you're went viral back in the day on YouTube. I still didn't think anything was going to happen from it. And then it just like that whole weekend was kind of nuts with them. And I got to thank them for like having us on that channel and then their producers, Brendan Jones specifically, for kind of highlighting me in that video. And once that dropped, everything changed. And it was like, it sort of got the offer to join them. And I was just like, what the hell is happening? Oh, very surreal. Feels like yesterday. Even though it's been, 10 months, 8 months, something like that. I never wanted this. I never knew it was something to want. But once the opportunity kind of came, how do you not do it? I just sort of, took the jump and hoped that it would work out. And comes to worse, I'll just go be an accountant again. I hope it doesn't happen, but I got a decent fallback, and it's been a wild ride. It's never had. It's crazy. It's hard to even explain, but I'm a lucky dude. All these things happened, and like this could have gone this way, that could have gone that way, and then it was just, I would have gone back to my normal life and not thought twice about it. But these things just kept piling on, and I didn't realize they were building to anything at the time. And now sitting where I am now, it's just kind of crazy to think about. But Um, yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna wake up every day. Every day I'm like, all right, this is gonna be a really cool dream to tell my wife up in bed tomorrow when I'm supposed to go to work. But it hasn't happened yet. So maybe I'm just like in a coma. Who knows?
It's a cool story, man. It's cool you can even like have that appreciation because I feel like a lot of the time and like personally, like it all happens so fast and like it you can just get caught up in like what you're doing and what you're doing next, and it's hard sometimes to step back and look at what you've built and like what has become of what you're doing and really appreciate it, you know? And I think a lot of that is to do with just like social media. Like there's a lot of amazing stuff that we just talked about with social media, but there also is stuff that's tough about it. And I think I'd be interested to hear from you, like what if anything has been a struggle with this shift, because it's very different than being an accountant from 9 to 5, I'm sure. And yeah, just what are kind of some of the things you've maybe had to deal with or cope with or learn or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I was probably like one of the last like buddies in my friend group to like even get Instagram. Maybe uh, 8 years ago, 9 years ago, right? I was the guy that was like, I have Facebook. Why do I need Instagram too? And I just sort of held on to that for years and years and years and years. And yeah, I never, even when I hopped on these happy hours, I wasn't posting stuff. I was a viewer, I was a viewer on Instagram of other people. So I wouldn't say that like social media or creating content is like something that comes natural to me. I think that like making sure I'm putting things out on my own that isn't just Bob Does Sports centric. That's probably my biggest challenge, because it's not second nature to me. It's not something I really ever strive to do. So yeah, home and we're not on the road, being conscious of like, all right, I need to like do something. I don't know what, but like I need to like go to a TrackMan place and film me playing 3 holes and put it into a video. I need to like put stories up when I play golf. Like I'm still having to be like conscious of creating content. It's not second nature like it is for cold cuts or it is for Bob. To them, that's just like breathing. For me, I'll go on and be like, oh shit, I don't have a single story up right now. Like I got to get something up here. Like, so that's probably the hardest part for me. And I'm sure that'll get easier as time goes on, but I'm not really a look at me guy. I never have been. It's just, I'm here now. So, you're at me and I guess I gotta dance or something. So, yeah, that's the hardest part for me.
That's probably a good thing though, man, because like I think a lot of the troubles people run into mentally with social is like the anxiety over posting and the anxiety over performance of those posts, and people like me, this, that, and the other thing. But if you've never really had that, I don't know, innate, I don't want to say desire, but like whatever, it's probably not. I don't want to speak for you, but I would assume it's probably not hit you as hard, because that was actually gonna be my next question. Is like mentally, a lot of people can struggle with like kind of the exposure and the eyeballs and the opinions and all these things that get thrust your way. You guys are a very supported group, and I know as far as negativity goes, you're much lower than say like Riggs has to deal with in foreplay or something. But yeah. I'm sure every once in a while stuff comes your way.
Yeah, we're lucky. We have a very positive fan, and like you said, a cult following. Our comment sections on posts and YouTube and everything is unbelievably positive compared to what you said. A lot of these groups that struggle with that, I couldn't imagine. I mean, I think I'm just sort of, I'm comfortable in my own skin. I am what I am. I'm happy with what I am. I don't want to be skinnier. Sure. Am I going to do anything to make that happen? No. So why am I going to like care about that? So if people are like, oh, look at this fat guy, like, yeah, well, yeah, I am fat. So, okay, that's fine. I just don't care. I don't really care about the negative stuff. I think it comes with the territory, but I have to like, I can read things and not like have affect me. You got to read stuff because it can be constructive, but you need to just realize when someone's just being an asshole, and like, that's fine. I deal with those people in my life, my whole life. I deal with them on the internet. It's not any different. No, I don't think I've changed. I try not to. I'm conscious of, I live in the same house that I lived I lived in before this started. I have the same friends. I don't, I haven't had like an expensive taste pop up in my life. I'm still the same guy, just wants to have beers. I mean, I think the only difference is kind of being in public and people recognizing me in airports, at golf courses, even around town when I'm home. I mean, that part's, it takes me a little bit of getting used to there, but like it's all love. So, the moment someone comes up to me and is like, God, I fucking hate you. You're like, you're just you're a terrible addition to Bob Does Sports. And just be like, all right, cool, dude, like, have a nice day.
Yeah, all right, buddy. Yeah. I think a huge part of it for you is you are truly who you are, and I think the people who do get negativity sometimes, it's around people feeling that they're not as genuine, and there's maybe some disingenuous tendencies or natures to whether it's their content or whatever. And like, I feel like people just really can sniff out BS online. And like, I found personally, like, yeah, the support in the golf community, I thought there was a lot of negativity, but there just isn't. It's just because I came up watching certain groups and seeing certain things.
Sure.
But like, I have had the most positive response I've ever had on the internet ever with starting this golf channel, and the support and the community that I've built already. Like, it's mind blowing how supportive these people are. And it's so, like, I was so nervous to post my first on course video, and I thought it was going to be a lot of judgment and a lot of this and a lot of that. But like, it was, I sat and replied to comments for like 2 hours straight. Like, it was just so much positivity, and it was so, it was awesome and it was inspiring. But it's like, I'm not trying to hide that I started golf a year and a half ago, and like, I'm still learning the game, and I'm not trying to say I'm someone I'm not. And I feel like it's the same with you. You're just who you are. I mean, literally, when you sent me that email and your header had a logo that said "The Fat Perez," I'm like, you've just fully embraced this. I know, I love it. It's like, you're truly who you are, and you're not trying to like be anyone else or be anything else. And like, your brand is it's not just a brand. It's literally just you being you. And I think that's why people love you so much, man, for sure.
Yeah, I think the only thing that's different is the name. I mean, no one really cares. Like, if I just went by my normal, like a ring to it and couldn't really grab a hold of, and frankly, it was given to me by friends that I didn't like when I first got it, but they wouldn't let it go. And I guess I'm glad they didn't let it go. But yeah, I mean, like, I think people need to realize, like, I'm not going to sit here and like tell you the secrets or like people should do this or shouldn't do this. I'm not perfect, but like, why would I, I've gotten where I've gotten being myself. Why would I now change that? Like that, how would that help me? So I think there are people out there that are like, oh, I've got this following, I need to be this kind of person now. It's sort of like, that's counterintuitive, right? That person's not what got you here, it's yourself. So why don't you just keep doing that? And it's easier. Like I said, I'm not an actor. I don't know how to be different. If I try to fall on my face.
Yeah. This is maybe a different question, but you just mentioned that, like, maybe one day you want to like get skinny or whatever, but like right now you don't want to. Do you think, because I feel like comedians sometimes can have this happen, I feel like actors can sometimes have this happen, whereas like right now your brand is the Fat Perez. Do you feel like you almost like have a pressure to uphold that brand? Like, I know right now you're completely happy with where you are, and that's amazing and good for you, but like, I don't know, who knows? You're right, maybe in a couple years you're like, I'm gonna start going to the gym. Are you like, crap, I'm gonna have to rebrand myself now? If you like all of a sudden just want to get jacked?
Some professional might tell me I need to. Or else it can last that much longer. Well, I mean, I think the hair, I probably can't cut my hair, which is fine. I like long hair. But Cole to say, he's like Perez, you'd still be Fat Perez if you lost 60 pounds. So
yeah, it's true.
If I can move from a 3X to a 2X or even an XL as a 5'7" guy, I'm still a big dude. Maybe I'll put my shelf life out a little bit longer. I'm just, for me, it's not like looking in the mirror and like, I need to change this. I don't care personally. My wife seems to like me good enough. And I think it's going to get to the point where it's like, all right, like there's a reason you need to change this. So let's get your shit together. So that'll happen at some point, but I don't know. I don't care. I just don't care, man.
No, absolutely. Well, I think that's the thing is like you're so yourself now that like even if you all of a sudden became this guy who like is working out and eating healthy and that becomes a part of your life, you'll just be who you are and your fans are still going to love you because they love you. You know what I mean? And you're just so honest in
Yeah,
yourself. Like I don't
I
think you have
hope so.
anything to protect that, you have
I
to.
hope so. I think, I mean, maybe there are people out there that like because I'm fat, but I don't know if that's like the main reason. I mean, bigger guys like me that are golfers that can like resonate with me, and I'm happy to like rep that 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 group of people all day long. Yeah, I don't know if I would ever do like I'm not sure I would do like a weight loss like Fat Perez weight loss journey series or like
I don't
stuff.
see
I
that
don't
being you
know.
either. No.
Yeah, I just don't know if people like I think people will be happy for me to like get healthier, but I'm not sure they really are following me to join a diet page. So it's going to be a slippery slope. I think people, if it'll happen, they'll just start commenting, "Oh, Perez is looking a little thinner, looking a little thinner." You'll see it happen that way.
Yeah, totally. I think it's like I think it could even just be like a background conversation that's like jovial, like oh I'm trying to whatever, but like it definitely I don't see you posting a weight loss series either. I don't think that's
No, I
super.
don't see you doing well.
No, I don't see that being the move. YouTube and content is like one of those things where it's like it's so easy to envelop yourself fully, and you said you watch YouTube golf and you're into that scene and whatever, and like it's very easy to be all consumed by YouTube and metrics and videos and what we should do and how do you shut it all off? Like you said you're home for the week now, you're not filming. How do you I mean, you hopped on here with me, and I'm very appreciative of that because you probably shouldn't be if you're trying to shut it off. But how do you turn that off mentally, and what other pursuits do you have outside of golf and YouTube that help you with that?
Yeah, I mean, I have many interests outside of the game of golf, and even in outside of YouTube golf. So I still have my friends back home. I still, my wife and I travel. We spend most of our summer weekends down, kind of in the rivers of Virginia, out on boat and drinking with friends and things like that. So that's still a big part of my life. I go up to the mountains a little bit, hang out up there, get away. I like to travel in general. I like music. I like going to Widespread Panic concert runs down in the Southeast. And I have my interests outside the game of golf. I don't find myself having to like consciously separate myself, or my wife saying like, can you put the remote down? Like, let's go to dinner. Like I don't know. I don't think too much about it. I have to do, and that hasn't changed. And I can do all of these things and not get enveloped by anyone. I mean, there's some concert runs on Panic weekends where I'm like, I could just follow this band all summer and I don't need to go back home. Like, what if I just sell grilled cheeses in the parking lot? Like, could I make a living? Like, I have those moments for sure. But I think I can just bounce around a little bit in my interests. And I mean, the beautiful thing about this life now is that I have I can just sort of decide whether or not I want to do something, where before it was like, all right, well, I have work and I got to do this. Like, do I have the time? Do I have, am I going to be able to do this? And now it's just like, are we filming? Oh, we're not filming. Like, yeah. And do I want to do it? Like, let's go do it. So, that's the blessing of this life, is just sort of the time and the flexibility, I would say.
Absolutely. I've talked a little bit with Joey and stuff about what's coming next for you guys as a group. I know it's a good collab for sure. I know there's maybe a Rick Shields collab, but for you personally, is there anything up and coming that's exciting or different as individual to FP, or something you're personally maybe more excited about that you guys are doing as a group?
Yeah. I think that I can talk about it. Cause I've done a few of these, but so we're trying to come out with like little series within Bob Does Sports. So we got a few things cooking. One of them for me is like a Perez verse series, which I think first episode will come out in the next several weeks. Hopefully I can talk about this. I am. So, well, I'll ask for forgiveness. But yeah, it'll be essentially me playing other YouTube golfers in matches, PGA pros getting some strokes, athletes where maybe I'm giving some strokes. it's just sort of a more competitive, like cart cam interview. Joe will still be there for kind of color commentary and their nonsense, but definitely a more focused series, because you see a lot of these. You see a lot of. I've seen. I don't. Man, I should know this, and I apologize to whoever it is, but like you see these videos about like giving these like us stars, like that's a 3-star or a 4-star or a 5-star YouTube golfer, and so I think people see it a lot, or like Divot Dudes, I think just ranked who they thought their top 10 YouTube golfers are. And, it's like, let's not speculate. Let's go out and play a match and let's figure this thing out. And I think people see that. I think people have their favorite they want to root on, and they, have a series, you play multiple matches and things like that. So I think, and I've seen a lot of comments or, Micah, you need to play Perez, or Grant and Perez, like love to see that match. So like, screw it, let's do it. So I think it's going to be a fun thing. I'm looking forward to that personally. I think it'll be good for the channel, and hopefully some other guys in the space kind of do something similar. I think everyone does to some extent. It's maybe not as formal as this will end up being. So yeah, I'm personally pretty excited to do that.
That sounds awesome, man. That's cool, and it's a slightly switch up of the value prop. It's not purely comedic. It'll have that comedic relief from what it sounds like, but it'll still
have
like
that. I mean, we're still we're still idiots, and everyone's still there, but it'll have a little bit more of an intensity to it, especially as the match goes on. But I think it'll be really cool. It'll be a little bit different than what we normally have done.
That's sick. That's sick. Well, dude, that sounds super exciting. I'm super excited to watch it. Thank you so much for coming on today. It was great to connect with you and chat with you. And yeah, man, I wish you guys nothing but the best.
Yeah, wish you the best as well, man. Keep doing what you're doing. I love it.
Great. Thanks, brother.